Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Rob Triggs from CRM Dynamics. I'm responsible for sales and marketing for our company. Today, we're going to be talking about how do you stop losing leads. So a lot of you have spent a lot of time and money investing in websites and managing social media and doing different activities to generate leads. And what we're finding out there is a lot of companies have not sort of thought the whole process through, and they're actually losing leads. Last week, one of our partners, Darrell from Candy Box Marketing, he talked about how do you attract, engage these people using your social media, your website, different tools like that. How do you do that? And he had some great examples of clients he's working with where they're having a lot of success doing that. If you're interested in that, I have a recording that we can send to you. It says Darrell from Candy Box Marketing. He covered off part one, sorry. I'm going to cover off part two. And part two today is really all about how do you now take those people that you've captured and how do you convert them into paying customers. So let's get started here today. So as I mentioned, Darrell was doing the first part of this webinar last week, and a little bit of background on Darrell. So Darrell is the founder of Candy Box Marketing. If he was here today, he would say he's a proud dad of four very rambunctious kids. He's a very strong digital marketer. He's a search engine marketing expert. He gets invited to speak at many, many different events where he gets to speak on the topic of attracting people to websites and social media. And he is a social media expert. Used to be more self-proclaimed years ago, but now a lot of people seek out Darrell for his opinion on that topic. So I'm going to be talking today. Today, I'm going to be focusing on the convert part. I'm also a very proud dad. I don't have 4 kids, I have 2. And I am a certified sales coach. I spent 17 years in sales at Xerox. So very proud of my experience at Xerox. And I've learned a lot. I also am a sales and marketing leader in our own company. So I'm the person responsible for sales and marketing for our company. But I also work with our existing clients who are looking for more help to grow sales beyond just buying CRM. So sales process, sales training, sales methodologies, and things like that. So I am a sales methodology junkie. I love reading and learning all about sales and reading books and all those good things. And that's me. So when you put us together, if you use the analogy of a volleyball team, I don't know if any of you have watched any of the Pan Am games here in Toronto, but they had volleyball as one of the sports. And two-person volleyball team really rely on each other to win the game. One person sets the ball and the other person spikes it. And this analogy I want to use here today, Darrell's the marketer. So when marketing's working well, they're setting the ball for the salesperson perfectly so that the salesperson can come in and spike the ball and close the deal and win the game. So that's the analogy that I'd like you to have in your brain for this webinar today. So last week, Darrell talked about attracting and engaging the target clients you're going after, and he did a tremendous job at that. And again, I've got a recording. If you guys want to see that, just let me know. I'm going to talk about the convert piece. So 66% of the entire process of attracting new clients to your business, so lead generation and management, 66% of it is really that first part that Darrell talked about last week. If you drop the ball after that and you don't focus on the convert piece, that's where you're going to be losing leads. You're going to spend all the money and effort and time on generating and producing an amazing website. You may even have some people doing social media work for you. You might have a Facebook account for your company, a Twitter account. You might have a LinkedIn account and other social media tools. So really, we're talking about making lead management easy, and that's really what we want to try to get across today. Okay? And no, leads will not generate themselves by the end of this. You'll have to do a little bit of work, but hopefully by the end of this, you will have a better idea of how to structure this, especially those of you who are using Dynamics CRM. So today's goal then is to really learn how to convert more leads so you can stop losing leads. And this is part 2 of a 2-part series, and if you request the recordings, I can send them to you. So how are we going to do it? I'm going to share some facts and stats that are more than just what I think. I'm going to tell some stories of what's happening out there right now. I'll give you an opportunity to ask questions. I also have some polls that I have, so I'm going to ask you to use the poll tool and make this interactive. So here comes the first poll, and I got to be honest, I have never actually done a poll in a GoToWebinar before, so let me try to do this. So the first poll is, let me bring up the slide. Are you a Starbucks fan or are you a Tim Hortons fan? So let me push out this poll, and I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to answer that question. So are you a Tim Hortons fan or are you a Starbucks fan? So if you can select which one you prefer, Starbucks or Tim Hortons, that'll get you using the poll tool. So I know you know how to use the poll tool, and it'll tell me a little bit about the audience that I'm speaking to today. So far, 100% of the respondents are Tim Hortons. So that's good because that's what I am too. So far everyone's Tim Hortons. Got a couple more people to respond. So if you don't know where the poll tool is, when you've got a GoToWebinar screen and it has chat window, question window, poll window, you should see the poll pop up. You should be able to select it. So it looks like everyone here is Starbucks. Oh, sorry, it is Tim Hortons. So nobody Starbucks. So that's pretty cool. So thanks for doing that. That's awesome. So the next question I have, and I only have 3 questions just so you know. The next question I have is learning how to convert leads important to you? Is that something that is important to you, or are you just here because you like watching webinars? So is learning to convert leads important to you? Is it something that you really want to know more about? And if you do, then you've come to the right place. And so far, 100% of you have said yes. So that's really good. Okay, thank you everyone for taking those polls. I appreciate it. And there's one more a little bit later, and let's jump in. So the first thing I want to talk about is very, very high level, the conversion process. So you've done a good job. Maybe you've invested in trade shows. Maybe you've gone out and done some advertising in magazines or more traditional things. Maybe you've done a really good job with social media, with blogging, with your website, and you've got leads coming in from all these different sources. So very basically speaking, what you need to do is you need to make sure you've got these steps in process. So capture is the first stage, qualify is the second, assign is the third, nurture is the fourth, and convert is the fifth. And if you're doing all those things properly, then you've got a very good lead capture and lead qualification process. So the convert stage is what I'm going to be focusing on the most. And if you do each one of these steps properly, you'll be able to convert almost naturally. So let me just pull this screen down. So before we go any further, I want to quote Stephen Covey. So Stephen Covey's 7 Habits is a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the 7 habits, the one that I like the most or use the most, is something called first things first. First things first just means do the first things first, and then you won't be stressed out about the things that don't get done because they're less important because you did the first things first. So first things first, I'm going to establish a stat that is the basis of this entire presentation. So this stat says that today's buyers are anywhere from 60 to 90% of the way through the buying process before they reach out to a vendor. So before your salespeople get a phone call or someone reaches out to your company, the buyer today is anywhere from 60 to 90% of the way through their buying process before they reach out to you. This is a significant statement, a significant statistic. This one comes from Forrester Research, but I've also seen this from Gartner Group and from many other different reputable sources. So based on that, I have another poll. Do you agree or do you disagree that your customers are anywhere from 60 to 90% of the way through the buying process before they reach out to a salesperson in your company? So I pushed out that poll. You have 3 options. You can say yes, you agree that the customer is 60 to 90% of the way through the process. You can say no, I don't believe that. Or we've added a 3rd option that you're not sure. And if you're not sure, maybe you need some more information to qualify that. Okay. So right now we're pretty much split between the 3 answers. Most are now coming in as not sure. So many of you are saying you're not sure. Hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll be more sure. And so we've got almost half at not sure, and then a split right down the middle between yes and no. So that's really good. So I think what we'll do is we'll be able to address that as we go along today. Let me close that poll. Okay, great. Thank you for doing that poll, everybody. So the next slide then is we're going to talk a little bit more now about the lead process. So if your prospect is 60 to 90% of the way through the buying process, where might you be failing to convert? So that's a very good question, because many of you said that you weren't sure. And so if you're not sure, here's a slide that will give you here's a slide that will give you a little bit of an idea of where you're at. So 25% of the conversion process is things that you actually see. So it's things you can track and measure, and you can actually see what's happening. 75% of the conversion process is coming from things that you can't see. So the whole idea is, let's make sure you have visibility to the entire lead management process so that you can manage it more effectively. And if you can do that, you can improve. So here's some statements that people say that are getting in the way of leads. Salespeople will say, you know what, the leads that we get are bad, so I'm not going to manage them. I'm not going to be responsible to manage those leads. So we hear that a lot. Another one we hear people say is the customer is not ready to buy. So you've given me this lead, Mr. Marketer, and the customer is not ready to buy. So it sits on the vine and it rots. Another one we hear a lot is we don't sell. So there's a lot of organizations, especially in the higher ed market, where they're trying to attract students and things like that, and they feel like they don't sell, they attract customers. We've worked with engineering firms that say they don't sell. And I would like to say, even if you don't want to use the word sell, you are trying to attract clients to do business with you. So in essence, you really do sell, even if you don't think you do. And it's making sure you've got the right processes in place to maximize that. The other one is marketers will often say, you know what, we put all this energy into creating leads, and we send those leads over to the salespeople, and they can't convert. They don't know how to convert leads. Another one we hear is, what leads? We don't get any. So there's a lot of companies where their salespeople come in and they really don't get leads. They have to go generate their own business. And the last one is this one: marketing gives sales poor leads. So this is probably the number one thing we always hear when we work with clients, is marketing is working really hard, but the leads they give us are terrible. So that's what we hear. I'd like to go through something that I call the customer's buying process. So there's really 9 stages that a company or even a person goes through when they're buying just about anything. So in the top part of this funnel, we have the business symptom. The business symptom is something's going on in the company to cause them to need to look at making a change or buying something to solve the problem that the symptom is creating. Sometimes it's not a symptom, a business symptom or a business pain. It might even be an opportunity. So when the company is experiencing some kind of negative number or negative aspect they need to fix, then they'll do something about it. If there's an opportunity they're trying to take advantage of, then they will also try to do something about it. Once that happens, they form a plan. So what is our plan? Are we going to buy something? Are we going to hire somebody? Or what are we going to do? So everybody goes through that process when they're deciding to buy something. It might be a vacation. Maybe the symptom is you're stressed out and you want to get away because you're stressed out and you need a break. So there's the symptom. The pain might be that you're stressed out, and you decide to put a plan in place to actually go ahead and do something about it. And then once you've done that, you fall down into the bottom part of the funnel. You start researching solutions. So if you're anything like me, you might go on to TripAdvisor and start looking for places you might want to go. And then you find different solutions to where you want to go. So now you're looking at suppliers. What hotel you're going to take, what airline you're going to take, how much is it, all that stuff. You start looking at pricing. You select where you're going to go. You negotiate the terms of going, and then you go. So that's in your personal life, but this process applies to the business world. So the top part of this funnel is, if someone is in this top part, the top part here, and even these top 2 pieces of the bottom funnel, I just realized you can't see my pointer. So if you're in this top part of the funnel here, and the top 2 rungs of the bottom funnel, you still have the ability to influence what that person does. The further the person goes down on this process, the harder it is to influence the person. That's an important fact for what we're going to talk about. Where most people spend their time, salespeople spend their time quoting numbers, so doing proposals, requests for proposals and quotes and things like that, all the way down to the bottom, negotiating and trying to get them to buy, okay? But where you can influence the person and what they do is up in this top area. So if you, using the vacation example, if you are having a symptom of needing a vacation and the pain is really you're stressed out and you need some time away, at that point in time, you're highly likely able to entertain things that maybe aren't on your radar, like a vacation, maybe a day at the spa or something like that. But in the business world, it's the same thing. So maybe sales are 10% lower year over year than they need to be, and that symptom is causing you some pain. And from there, you may need to form a plan to do something about it. So when you're in this top part of the funnel, you're able to influence more. So here's the issue. These are different popular sales methodologies. So these are sales methodologies that you can train your salespeople on so that they are more effective at selling. So I'm certified in every one of these ones. So here's BANT. So BANT stands for budget, authority, need, and time frame. If you train your salespeople on that process, you're really only addressing that bottom part of the lower funnel. If you teach people Sandler is a kind of selling, and you can teach your team, you teach your people how to do that. That's really only addressing the one rung up on the bottom part of the funnel. If you teach them spin selling, SPIN is an acronym for situation, problem, implication, and need. You're addressing more of the whole bottom part of the funnel, but you're still in the bottom part of the funnel. If you start moving into solution selling, now you're starting to address the top part of the funnel. And if you use a consultative selling model, you're addressing the entire business buying decision process. An example of a consultative selling model is called the Challenger Sale. The Challenger Sale is an amazing book. You can get it off of Indigo or whatever book place you buy from. It's a great book. I highly recommend it, the Challenger Sale. So there's one problem with this whole model. And over the last number of years, 10, 15, even 20 years, we've been training our salespeople in all these different tools to try to sell to our customers. The issue is really this. If you believe this statistic, some of you said you did, some of you said you didn't. If you believe that the customer is anywhere from 60 to 90% of the way through their buying process before they reach out to a salesperson, that means they're already down in the sort of RFI page where they're looking for they're looking for quotes or prices. Then relying on the salespeople to win more of those customers over is not where you want to spend all of your time. So the top part, again, this is the influencing stage. So if 60 to 90% of the time they're already through the influencing stage, then we shouldn't rely on our salespeople to try to influence those people what they're doing. The bottom part is where they should be spending their time, is the selling phases. Okay, and if you do that, you'll have a lot greater success. So the question I have, and I'm not going to make this a poll, but the question I have is, where do your salespeople most often engage? And when I do this assessment for companies, I typically see right here, around this area. So the customer has already gone through all of those other upper parts of the decision process, and now they are asking a company, we get it all the time. We'll get a company call us and they'll say, hey, we've decided that we want either Dynamics or Salesforce. That tends to be the two that we always see. And they come to us and say, we have a request for proposal we'd like you to fill in, and please tell us why we should buy Dynamics. Well, if we are dealing with the customer up in this stage where they're saying, we're not able to manage our existing customers very well, we're not able to manage our salespeople's tasks and activities, our ability to manage contacts across the company is not very good, those kinds of business issues and pains, then we can influence them very, very early that Dynamics is a very, very solid platform they'd probably want to closely consider. And a lot of times when you do a good job of doing this, they actually sell themselves on the platform. So when they get to this stage and they want to quote, a lot of times it's not they want to quote from you and Salesforce and maybe 3 others. Maybe it's just you and Salesforce. Maybe it's just us. So when you do a good job of this, selling is much, much, much easier. Okay. Okay. This is actually, I didn't prepare a poll for this, but I'm just going to put this as a rhetorical question. do you use a structured sales process? And why I ask that question is we see very often that most companies do not use a structured sales process. Either they haven't trained their salespeople on a formal sales methodology, or they really don't have a consistent way of managing salespeople. So they hire salespeople, they give them a territory, they give them a quota, they give them some tools to go do the job, and if they do well, then they keep them. If they don't do well, they fire them and hire another one. So that tends to be what we see the majority of out there. There's a better way. You can hire people that have strong aptitude and likelihood to succeed and give them the tools and the processes they need to be successful. When you look at what the customer goes through nowadays, here's a very, very high level version of a customer journey. So the customer nowadays starts their journey in the digital world. So when they're looking to buy something or solve a problem, they go to Google. And since we're a Microsoft partner, they go to Bing. They go to Bing and Google and they do a search. Those searches, they may do the searches on social channels too. They might go to LinkedIn into some of the groups and say, hey, I've got this problem. Has anyone ever solved this issue with a product or service? If you have, please let me know what you did. So people are going on the digital spaces, social media groups, social media channels, websites, third-party websites. I don't go on a vacation unless I've gone to TripAdvisor anymore. I go to TripAdvisor and I take a look at actual people's pictures of the place. I take a look at their reviews. So your customers, depending on the industry you're in, they are educating themselves about your products and services without your intervention at all. They're consuming content that's available digitally so that they can start to form an opinion of what they should do. Okay, so that's happening out there. What we need to do is we need to be able to capture them in that process. So we need to go to where we still have an opportunity to influence what they're doing and go to those places and make sure we're able to capture them in the process of making the decision so that we can influence what they're going to do. Now, it's not about making someone do something that's unnatural or whatever. It's just providing the facts, providing the testimonials, providing guidance in those very early stages so that they have information from your company to help them solve their problem. If you do that properly, you're able to capture, nurture, and then convert those into paying customers. I'm almost done with the philosophical things. We're going to jump into more practical things here over these next few slides. Okay, so to review the process again, so we've got capture, who are they? We've got qualify, what do they want? We've got how best can we help them? So we need to make sure that we assign this lead to the right resource, and it's not always wise to send it to a salesperson. Then we have to have a process to nurture that person into becoming a customer. A lot of it's through education. So providing them, we use a lot of ebooks, white papers. This webinar is being recorded today, and some customers will say, do you have any information on how I can use CRM to generate more leads? And we'll send them this video or shorter versions of it, and so on. So educate and influence, provide information to your potential customers to help them through their process. And then finally, convert. So eventually you'll assign it to someone in sales so that they can do their last few pieces of the process and turn them into paying customers. So here's another statistic. It says that 50% of qualified leads are not ready to purchase immediately. So rhetorical question. When a lead comes in, what does your company do? Do you hand it to sales immediately? Do you hand it to marketing, or does marketing keep it and nurture? Do you know what happens in your company? You really want to think that process through. And I've got some thoughts on it. So sales and marketing working together is something that I think every company needs to improve upon. And we've actually coined a term called smarketing. So it's the S is the sales and the M is in the word marketing. So it's not about sales and marketing as two separate functions anymore. It's really about merging those two together and have a smarketing process for your company. And what we believe a strong smarketing process is, it's really the new way of selling. So in the center, you have CRM. And CRM, when structured properly, will have your existing and potential accounts loaded in there, so accounts. It'll have your contacts, so the people that work for those accounts and companies. It'll have the ability to track and manage leads. It will have the ability to track and manage sales opportunities. It will have an automated and manual way of assigning and tracking tasks that need to be done. It should have the ability to do these things on a mobile device so you can get yourself out of the office and get in front of customers. And it should have the ability to create charts and dashboards so you can visually represent data so you know what's happening, okay? Now, if you structure your CRM properly, and to have those as the basic core, you're really, really off to the races. And if you do it well, it should allow you the ability to manage your existing customers much more effectively, and it should allow you to upsell and cross-sell your existing customers other products and services that you sell. But the other piece that people miss out on is this piece. It can also, when structured properly, help you land new customers. So you might not know who those companies are. You can load all the companies' data into CRM from D&B or one of the other data set providers. We have a partnership with D&B if you're interested in that, and then go after them. You can just load the companies that are most likely to do business with you. So if you sell cars, or I don't know, maybe not cars, if you sell, I can't think of a good analogy. Anyway, you can load in data that is relative to your target segment and put that in there. You can go after those people as new business, but you can also track the leads as well and load those in there. Okay, the other thing you can do, and we do a lot of this, you can connect your CRM to other systems that your company uses to manage the business. One of the most popular one is your financial or accounting system or ERP system. So information about year-over-year sales, products that they bought in the past, accounts receivable, payable information, that type of thing. So what we can do is we can create basically a 360-degree view of your existing and your potential customers, but only by logging into CRM. So the analogy is you've got an existing account, ABC account. You log in to the account through CRM, and from the one screen in CRM, you can see all the sales that you've done from those to that company over the last 3 years. You could see their payables if they're current on their payables. You could see any information from other systems. Maybe you see the cases from a case management system. Maybe you see inventory levels based on your inventory management system. Okay, so if you haven't done this yet, connecting your CRM to other systems, I highly, highly recommend it. It will give you a much more easier way of managing your existing clients. To continue on the thought of marketing though is, so you've got CRM in the middle, you've got your existing customers loaded in there, you're managing them much more effectively, you've got potential customers coming in, but those potential customers may be in the form of a lead that's come in. And if you believe the stat of the 60 to 90% of the way through the process because they're using and consuming digital and social media assets like this piece of the slide's showing, then we need a way to connect to that. So we very often connect CRM to companies' web and social media channels. So now you can start to track what those people are doing in CRM. So again, you log into CRM, you can see who's been on your website, you can see what pages they've clicked on, you can see what they've downloaded. If any of you have ever downloaded an ebook, requested a demo or anything like that on our website, we have a section in our CRM that shows us that. So I can see what you've downloaded, and if I choose, I can have a salesperson contact you to see how you've liked the ebook. Maybe you're interested in other ebooks we have that we don't make visible on our website. Okay, so connecting your CRM to that web digital presence is becoming more and more important because that's where people are deciding to do business with you nowadays. The other tool you need to make that easy is some form of a marketing automation tool, which allows you to do automated email marketing, and that needs to be Canadian anti-spam law compliant in the way you do that, and we can help you with that. It has the ability to track, to do web tracking visitors to your web in a very sophisticated way. It has the ability to do lead scoring, social discovery on those social channels, and nurture marketing, automated nurture marketing to nurture those early stage customers through the process and influence them to becoming a customer. Okay, we recommend a solution called Click Dimensions. Click Dimensions actually sits right inside of your CRM. It's not an external source you have to integrate to. and it works phenomenal, and we can help you set that up if you're interested. Dynamics also connects to other marketing automation tools like HubSpot and some other ones, but we highly, highly recommend the Click to Mention solution. And again, another plug for the connecting it to other systems. If you've invested in CRM, really start thinking about what other information will make the job of the sales and customer support person easier, and the executive visibility to what's going on with a client by connecting it to other systems. And if you're not sure, reach out to us and we can help you through that process. So the marketing automation features of Click Dimensions and most automation platforms are listed here. So email marketing, web tracking. Make sure if you do invest in email marketing and you're in Canada, it's a Canadian anti-spam law. It's set up properly so that you don't get in trouble through the Canadian anti-spam law. They're actually starting to hand out fines in the last few months with some companies. So it is a real law. Okay, email marketing, web tracking, the ability to track visitors to your website before they've opted in for anything. Lead scoring, it's just a way of segmenting the leads so you can come up with an automated process of handling what to do with them. Nurture marketing is the ability to nurture those customers through a process digitally, a sales process digitally, without anyone intervening. So it's almost like putting a lead on autopilot. And then once they get to a certain stage, then you can hand it over to a resource, a sales resource, or a marketing resource. Text messaging or SMS messaging, I don't know about you, but my kids don't talk to me anymore. They text me. Even when it's dinner time, they'll be upstairs and they'll text me downstairs and say, is it dinner time yet? So text messaging is a very, very popular way of communicating with others, and it will be becoming more and more and more. So this has the ability to do text messaging. Campaign tracking, so you can measure and measure the ROI of your campaigns. Form capture, so this is the way to put forms embedded on your websites, in your emails for invitations and things like that. Surveys, the ability to survey different contacts that are in your CRM. You can create campaign-based landing pages rather than going to your web developer. Social discovery. Integrations, there's a few integrations. One to GoToWebinar. So when you registered for this webinar today, you registered through the GoToWebinar tool. As soon as you registered, all that information flowed into CRM, created a record in your contact record in our CRM that you actually registered for this event. When the event's done, it actually measures who actually showed up, what questions you might have asked, and it puts that all in CRM. So 2 years from now, if I want to do another webinar like this, I can go back and say who came to the webinar and were they active. So you have all that information in CRM. They also have an event management integration as well, and then training and support. So conversions, the root elements of conversion are capture, qualify, nurture, and convert. And the key elements of doing that are really leads, then prospects, being relevant. So being relevant with the prospects. So the prospects come to you, you need to respond to them in a relevant way. Educate them to help them through their process. Nurture them either through a direct human interaction with a salesperson or an inside salesperson or a digital process, and then at the right time be able to close them. So the top 4 conversion failure points, this is getting into the stop losing leads part now, is really this. Sales and marketing not using the same data. So what's important is loading the data into CRM and sales and marketing using the same system and the same data to do their jobs. That's the first one. The second one is when a lead comes in, especially a web lead, that the response time, what we see, is very, very slow. So today you want to be responding to customers with a web lead in 5 minutes or less. And that may sound fast to you, but we live in an instant gratification world, and that needs to be the statistic. That's what we see. Delay at sales stages. So many companies have maybe 4 defined sales stages, maybe 5 or 6. Some have never even defined their sales stages. But if you allow a sales opportunity to stall at one stage because a salesperson forgets about it or they don't have time to get back to the customer for a few days or a few weeks, though that time delay kills sales cycles. And the fourth and final one is the ability to nurture is lacking. So not all customers that reach out to you are ready to buy now. there needs to be a way of educating them through a process of learning how you can help their company. And if you do that properly, and you do that without just relying on salespeople to do it, you'll increase the number of leads that come through the pipe and turn into customers, and you will most likely speed up how fast someone learns about you and then becomes a paying customer. So I can't underscore this more. The process from a lead to an opportunity, the killer, the absolute killer to this process is too much time. You want to make sure this is happening quickly. So if you look at the stages and where things really start to die, so the very first stage is the lead. So capture and send the lead to triage. So when a lead comes in from your website or any source, you should be triaging that very quickly, like 5 minutes. So the step 2 is the triage piece, the quick 5-minute lead response. If you ever come to our website and do the live chat, we have a live chat on ours. And so you can click on the live chat and you instantly get the information that you need. If you don't do the live chat, you can submit information through forms and things like that on our website. And we typically get back to those within 5 to 10 minutes. And so you should all strive to do that if you can. If you do that well, you can qualify to see, are they buy now, buy later? If they're buying now, you can assign that to a salesperson. If they're going to buy later, they need to be nurtured, and you can send them to your nurture process. Okay? If you don't have one, we can help you set one up. Now, I want to share with you a study that we did. So we decided to go out to, we've done about 1,000 now, 1,000 different companies, and these are the verticals we went after: post-secondary, financial services, high-tech companies, summer camps, credit unions, professional services, and insurance. We went to their websites and we submitted a lead to their website. And this is the stats that came back. So 54% of those, at this time it says 800, but we've done about 1,000 now. So out of the 800 that we did on this slide, 54% of them never responded to our lead. To this day, we still never got a response. The average number of days it took for a response is 4 days. So remember I said you should respond to those in 5 minutes? The average response was 4 days. Some got right back to us with an automated response, which isn't great because it's automated, but most of them took 4 days. 82% never tried to reach out to us a second attempt. So for those ones that sent an auto response or an actual person responded to our lead, we purposely didn't do anything with that, and we measured to see who would respond to us a second time, and 82% did not respond, did not try to reach out to us a second time. They just let it die. So at this time, 800 companies were surveyed. We continue to do the study. We're up over 1,000 now, and 78% were more than an hour. Okay, so this is really the heart of Stop Losing Leads. You want to set it up so that if people are coming to your website and looking to engage with you, you want to make that as easy as possible for them. Okay. So the anatomy of a good lead conversion plan: sales and marketing working from the same system and database. Leads responded to in less than 5 minutes. Real time is best. Real time would be a live chat type tool on your website. Second level, less than 1 day. So if you're going to respond to them and they don't get back to you, less than 1 day should you try the second attempt. A system to track, automate, and measure. So you want to be able to track and measure who is at which stage so that you can make sure that people are moving through the process quickly and properly. You want to set up a nurture process. It can be a digital nurture, it can be a nurture process with people, but you want to have a way of nurturing those companies that are interested in doing business with you through the process to becoming a customer. You want to apply a sales process. If you don't have a sales process, you probably do. You do have a sales process. Everybody has one. If you don't have a defined one or one that's consistent, we can help you with that. It's pretty simple, and we can help you do that. And the last, but probably the most important thing, is drive accountability to the right resources for these stages to be taking place. I'll be done. I got about 6 minutes left and I'll be all done here. So the tools that are used in this process, so the capture, qualify, assign, nurture, and convert, are things like web forms for capture. So someone's on your website, have various opportunities for them to fill in a form to engage with you. You can even gate content so that maybe you offer some valuable piece of content that your potential customers would love to have, and you gate it with a form so they have to give you their information to get that content. And once they receive the content, you can start a digital nurturing process to help them through their decision-making process. So some of the tools you can use to do that are you can use the live chat agent here. So live chat is what we use on our website. You can use the WordPress form widgets. We also have a Dynamics form widget that you can put on your website. For the qualify phase, you can use your Dynamics CRM configured properly so you can measure those leads and qualify them. And you can use things like ebooks and videos and white papers and other valuable pieces of information, digital information, that people can opt in for and download, okay? The assign piece, you can use your CRM and a sales process to assign this potential lead to the right resource. It might be a digital nurture, depending on the phase they're at. It could go right to a salesperson, but making sure that process is set up properly and automated in CRM. You can set up a nurture process using your CRM and a marketing automation tool. We recommend ClickDimensions, but you can use other ones. And then the last piece is convert. So there will be a point that the customer is at that very final stage of the buying process, and this is the time that your salesperson would be involved if they're not already, and you're using CRM to track and measure and adjust that. Okay, so those are the key places. Here's a bit of a map that shows you what it looks like putting this all together. So you've got the buying process on the left here that we've talked a lot about. You've got search tools people use to go and find answers to their problem. They land at different social tools, websites. They land at social tools like LinkedIn, Twitter, blogs, YouTube, TripAdvisor website, right? So people are landing at websites. They're consuming content. While they're on the website, we're tracking that. So when someone lands on your website, we can track that with the CRM tool, and we can put a record in CRM that unique IP address has landed at your website. We can provide tools to allow that person to get help from you using live chat, WordPress, and other tools to do that. That information gets automatically tracked in CRM. So any of the live chats that happen can get linked over to CRM. So you have it in there and you can measure, monitor, and do something about it. A simple way, if you've got Dynamics and Outlook now, a very simple way you can do this today actually is when an email comes in to somebody's email account, this one here is for a contract expiration. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on this email, and we're going to go up to here and say convert to, and we're going to say lead. So what will happen is this information will flow directly into CRM. It'll automatically create a new lead, and this email is the starting point of your lead process kicking off. Okay. So Harvard University says that 25% of sales cycles take an average of 7 months to close. So you really, really want to think about your sales process, how long it takes your customers to buy from the very, very first stage of they start to look, and make sure that you are trying to influence that using these tools all the way along. And again, a key one is a nurture process. So being able to nurture that potential customer through the process of buying. So qualify, educate, and help them through those ebooks and white papers and demos and all that good stuff. Develop the opportunity, incent them, and convert. There's something called a process bar. If you've got Dynamics CRM 2011 or later, you don't have this feature, which would be, this is a good reason, one of the good reasons to upgrade to a later version. So Dynamics CRM 2013 and CRM 2015, the current version, this is a process bar. So this is a little snapshot of the process bar. So in this one, we've got lead, qualify, assess, propose, negotiate, and close. So this is a basic example of sales process getting baked into the into CRM. So what you can do at the lead, so what we've done is I've just blown this up for you. So at the lead stage, if I'm at the lead stage, I can customize these questions. So here's a question here. So at the lead stage, do you know what the decision process is, Mr. Salesperson? And they would have to click yes, they do, or no, they don't. Or you could have this as a text field where they put, yes, the decision process is the CEO makes final decision. Can we help? So can we help this customer? Do we have a product or service that that will help solve their problem? Yes or no? Do we know what their budget is? How much is it? And we type that in there. Do we know the decision time frame? How long are they going to take to decide? When will they be making their decision? Who is the decision maker? So all of these questions are examples of different sales methodologies that you can use to make it easier for your salesperson to sell. And this process bar is 100% customizable, and we can bake the questions you want into the process bar. Okay, you can do that today. So in summary, align your sales process to the customer's new buying process, and you remember the image there. Use tools to capture web visits, because that's where they're starting to make their decision, and that's where you can influence them. Move quickly to respond to leads and each stage of the sales process. So respond to the lead quickly to triage it, but then at each stage of the sales process, make sure that that's happening as fast as it possibly can. Use nurture to walk your prospects through the sales stages. So you can use a digital nurture process or a manual sales-driven nurture process. Track and measure what you're doing so you know what's working, what's not, so you can adjust. Bake whatever sales process you have into CRM. If you want help with a sales process, we're more than happy to help you. And the last point is we're happy to help you with any of these things. So what can you do now? Well, on the live chat piece, what we've done is we've created a connection between live chat and CRM, so that if you install live chat on your website to allow your customers the ability to chat with a live agent, when the chatting is all done, they can click a button and all of the text from that live chat will flow right into CRM. It'll automatically create a lead so you can start managing the lead and triage it properly. Okay, so that's an integration that only we have, and you can have that for $39 a month. It's a monthly fee, so we connect it up and you pay that monthly fee, $39 a month to have that connection from live chat into your CRM. If some of you don't have Dynamic CRM now, which I know some of you don't, we have a scaled down version of Microsoft Dynamics CRM called Lead Engine, and it's just one screen. You can see a little snapshot of it here at the bottom that has a built-in sales process bar to manage the lead and key fields in the lead so that you can manage the leads, and then we can connect that to live chat as well. So you can just track your leads in CRM and use that as a way of starting with CRM if you don't want to invest in the entire platform right away. We also have something called Touch Mobile for larger organizations, and this is a simplified version of Dynamics for the remote user. You need about anywhere from 50 to 60 users or higher to make this worthwhile, but for those of you who have large remote workforces, this is a very cost-effective way of using CRM. And we have a solution for field salespeople and merchandisers to make it much, much easier for them to do their job when they're out in front of the customer. It's got the ability to do route mapping and sales planning and things like that. So if any of these are things you're interested in, you can reach out to me to get those, to get more information on that. Or if you want to go to our website and live chat with someone, you can do that too. So at this time, I'd like to offer the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have, and I'll answer them here in the tool. So there's a question on your panel, there's a question window. So you would click on the question, you ask a question, and I can answer it here. So I'll just wait a minute or two for that. And then I'll stay on and answer questions. But that pretty much wraps up the webinar today. I want to thank everybody for attending, and hopefully it hit the mark for what you were looking for. I've recorded this session, so if those of you who maybe had to skip away or had to step away for a minute, or maybe you want to share this with others in your company, you can ask me for the recording and we'll send it out to you. It will be posted to our YouTube channel. So when you go to our website, the top right-hand corner, there's our social media links. If you click on the YouTube channel, all of our videos are posted there. You're welcome to take the ones you want. And I thank everyone for attending. So no one's asking any questions, so I must have done a good job. Either that or you can't find the question tool. So if you have questions, you don't want to ask it here, you want to send it in an email, feel free to do that directly to me. All of you have my email address because of the webinar invitation came out from me. And so feel free to email me directly. If anybody does want help with their current CRM to get it optimized for managing leads, we can have a quick chat and talk to you about that, what that would look like. And hopefully the information was helpful. So I'm not seeing any questions here, so I will wrap up the webinar now and wish everyone a great day. And for those of you in the Toronto area, stay cool, drink lots of water. It's going to be 34 degrees today. For those in the US, that's like 90, I don't know what that is. I think it's like 90, it's got to be like 95 degrees or something like that, which is pretty hot for us in Toronto. All right, thanks everybody. Hope you had a great session. Have a great day and happy long weekend this weekend. Thank you for attending.